Welcome back to the O Brother podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith.
Overtime on O Brother.
It's O Brother overtime. So
you just mentioned this.
I just said,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about speaking Italian, and I had said how our Italian grandmother Rose was barely speaking Italian, when I was a little kid. So it really wasn't being spoken at that point in the house. And then I said, oh, we should have talked about our Italian great uncle who murdered someone and then fled back to Italy. And you were like, what? I don't know.
I never heard this story.
I was like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't tell you that. Oh, brother.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. Oh, brother.
How could I not know this story?
It's so crazy. So here's the wild thing is there is documentation about this. So here's the story as I can tell it.
How did you find this out?
Well, I got it from almost a direct source. So one day, now, right. You know how much time I spent down at Nana and Grandpa's house, right?
You were kind of a latchkey kid because
very much so.
We were all grown up and you were still in school. And your elementary school was
within walking distance, for an elementary school kid, however, but I made that trip up over the hill.
I used to walk here from there. So
it's a good hike. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So spent a lot of time at their house. And one afternoon, one evening, I was sitting at the kitchen table with Nana.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we were talking about whatever,
Nana hitting the sauce.
No, Nana wasn't hitting the sauce. No. And somehow we got on talking about there's a little variety. There used to be a little variety store right down from our house, if you remember, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And she was telling me it was named after a certain area. And she was telling me
Helltown.
She was telling me some of the history. She was telling me some of the history of that area.
Kelltown. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but I'm saying it again because of all those references I try to pull out with the details, because now if anybody wants to murder Mike from the O Brother podcast, they know exactly where to find him. So when you make these, that's why I say it again. So she was telling me about the history of this area that's right down from our childhood home. And
Hell's Kitchen,
exactly. Yeah. And so it somehow she started talking about our great uncle, who I guess worked as a laborer, like a day laborer up there. Yeah, he was there from Italy. I don't know when he came over, but he was there and he would do day labor, whatever. There was a lot of farms back then and, who knows what he was doing.
Right.
And apparently they were on a lunch break at this property wherever he was working. And he was, having like a lunch break with a bunch of other immigrants. I don't know if they were all Italian or whatever, but some argument ensued and he pulled out a revolver, I guess, and shot one of the guys and killed him apparently. And next thing you know, he fled back to Italy. And so I'm like 10 years old hearing this story, by the way.
And I've never heard the story.
Yeah, it was, well, you can imagine. It was traumatizing. Like, why are you telling me this, Nana? I just want to see my mommy. It was wacky. I mean, I was maybe, I don't know, 11 or something like that. Who knows? But anyways, so years later, hey, it's Oh Mother from the Oh Brother podcast.
Oh Mother making an entrance. She's ticked off.
Years later, I started to get into doing some ancestry work. Now, our uncle was really into ancestry and like old school, like going to the library and, he had all kinds of documents and things like that. And so I got into it through ancestry.com and I built our tree up pretty high. And to make a long story short, our aunt has since sent me articles that I have tucked away somewhere that were in the newspaper about this crime that took place. But I've had the hardest time, I guess maybe not a surprise after what I just said, I couldn't really find a lot of details about him. I think his
Because
name
didn't you
was.
start doing that ancestry.com thing?
That's what I just said 2 minutes ago, folks.
I
He wasn't
got
listening.
I got
He
distracted
wasn't. I
by
literally said ancestry.com, and he
I
wasn't
got
listening.
distracted by mom.
Yeah, clearly he got distracted. So, yeah, I think his name was Vincenzo, which about as stereotypical as you get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean,
You're making
we
this
got a
up.
lot of stereotypical names.
You're
there,
making
like
this story up.
Pietro, and for Peter, like all this stuff.
This
But
is a
anyways,
made-up story.
it's not a made-up story. I'll have to get the article, and maybe
I gotta see
maybe
these articles.
Yeah.
Is there a picture of Vincenzo?
No, there's no picture. That's the thing. Like I couldn't get a lot of now
Like
that you,
Vincenzo might have sold me,
and I can go up high in our tree to like great grandparents, but this dude, like they did a number covering this up apparently.
so he got off the radar somehow.
Apparently so. And that was the last I knew about it. So, but it was just fascinating that so many years ago I heard the story from Nana, and then so many years later it was corroborated by this documentation that our aunt sent us. It's crazy.
Which aunt?
Fran.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Isn't that wild?
That's wild.
It's wild.
Not
Not much else to say
No,
about that.
I
But
know.
good night, everyone.
So that's why I
Sleep
have
tight,
these
folks.
That's why I have these thoughts.
Oh man. Well, yeah, there's a we'll add that to the Oh Brother Bites or Oh Brother Outtakes or what have you. But anyways, there's your story. That was for you.
Wow.
All right. Buonanotte, everyone.
Buonanotte, everyone.
Ciao bella.
One of our relatives might be right behind.
Homicidal maniac. Good night, everyone.